Hey everyone, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Ninja Gaiden Black on Master Ninja difficulty. This is Chapter 8. It's entitled Tairon Under Alert. So you don't have to go back in here and get Rachel's Warhammer. But we will need it. The thing about Rachel's Warhammer, it's a blunt object just like the Dabilahro, meaning that you could smash objects like, for instance, the walls that have the cracks in them that you can destroy ordinarily with a incendiary shuriken. Also, some of the those large heads near the caverns that contain Life of the Gods and a Crystal Skull, those can be smashed too. So I'm just relieved that I don't have to play as Rachel, because it's not fun playing as Rachel. This part here, you want to bust out your windmill shuriken, since besides the shurikens, the standard shurikens, this is the only weapon, sub-weapon I should say, or projectile weapon that you can actually let loose while you're in the air. I still don't understand why you can't shoot an arrow in the air. It just makes no sense. You know, they said that this was the definitive version of the game, but that's a huge failing in my opinion. But, you know, we'll get past it. And these guys here, these guys are, you can see how much body armor they have, but they have two weaknesses. First weakness, and I'm not really speaking, I'm speaking for the guys that just did that to me, that move right there. The guys with the rocket launchers can be fly swallowed with ease. These guys, don't fly swallow them, or you'll 99% of the time go into an animation where they'll just impale you with the bayonet on their gun. Those two weaknesses though, guillotine throw. If you guillotine throw, also like these guys here, you can't just go up to them and Zuna drop them. That is to say, not unless you've let quote unquote loosen them up. There's two ways to loosen these guys up, because they're stiff necks. They're really stiffs. So the ways to loosen them up is to do a guillotine throw and to do a wind path. So you either jump off their head, and that will kind of stun them, or you do the guillotine throw, and that will completely put them at your mercy, and you can do whatever you want to them. So watch this. Now these guys here, I just fly swallow, but you see that right there? That's actually, I'm kind of glad that happened. But you can't do anything to these guys unless like you see me do guillotine throw, and then you could stab. If you stab them, you know, like we were stabbing the samurais in the first video, that's all fine. You can do that too, but you have to loosen these guys up. That's the only way you can even deal with these guys. But as for the rocket launcher guys, it's all balanced. It's very well balanced. You can do whatever you want to them, but those guys have to be your main priority, because they deal the most damage to you, and you'll really feel the burn of that damage. Also, in this game, there's no chopper that tries to shoot you when you're on this area here, Drawbridge Hill. So we got a pretty tough battle coming up, and if I were you, I would save it. So just keep your windmill shuriken. Sorry, I always mispronounce that. It's pronounced shuriken, but I've been so conditioned over the years to say shuriken. So we have a couple of armored vehicles and more APCs across the bridge over there. It looks like one of them is a rocket launcher one, and one is, you know, the armored guy with the gun. So when I say this guy's a priority, I mean it. You got to take that guy out, because if you're getting hit by a rocket, you're in big trouble. You're going to be receiving a lot of damage. But the other guys are just giving you chip damage with their guns, so it's not bad at all. Not even as bad as Ninja Gaiden 3, and that game is as bad as a game can possibly get. So yeah, fly swallow. You see, those guys will never block your fly swallow. They'll never do anything bad to you. So getting the turrets on top of the tanks is not essential, but I like to do it anyway with the windmill shuriken. So I mean, just go around and guillotine throw these guys and head stomp them, aka wind path. And if you don't know what the wind path is, I'm not going to tell you. Consult your moves list. Not many people consult their moves list, and it kind of bothers me. But a lot of the people who are watching my videos are either diehard fans and or better than I am. So, and I readily admit that I'm not as good as a lot of people, but where I draw the line is, it's okay to be ignorant about certain things. When you first play a game, it's fine, but I don't know that when you're asking me the questions. I don't know how much of a noob you are. And it's okay to be a noob because we're all noobs at some point. Hell, I was a noob at this game way back when. But I figured this game out by myself. I watched videos, I watched tutorials, and I just played the game. And that's what I recommend to you. Just consult the moves list. Just go open the menu and just look around. Read the diaries, if you want backstory. And, find a set of moves that works for you. Just go into an area where there's no enemies and just test out the moves. It's fun. This is the funnest you'll ever have in life. Just kidding. It's the funnest I've had in a long time, though, as far as a game. But I mean, this is a masterpiece. You really can't get much better than this. So there's a nice parry with the X button. It took me a long time to figure out how to parry too, but it's one of those things where it's hard to teach someone to parry. You have to, you have to get in there and do it and get the timing, figure out that timing for yourself. So we got a couple of more foes down here. I'm gonna, just safely go around these guys. Fly swallow. Looks like I'm in a bit of peril right here. Go ahead and use your magic though. It's completely safe to do that because we're gonna go back to that Xbox that revives our life and gives us all our magic back. All of our flames and our key gauge. So we're gonna destroy this right here. And you could do this earlier if you want to, but the only reason I ever went back to do this earlier in Ninja Gaiden Sigma was to acquire the Dabilahro. And honestly, I think I'm one chapter. I usually don't like to fall too behind on my commentaries, just so I can be fresh and in the know about what I'm doing and what I did. But I can't confirm where that Dabilahro is. I'll have to find it somewhere. It might be. I think it's a reward for the Scarabs. I think that's what it was in very hard mode. I think it's going to be the same in Master Ninja mode. So now we've opened this door. You can go use the Skull Key if you want, but I'm going to go and save it. And in this level, there are 2 Life of the Gods and 2 Golden Scarabs. I really shouldn't call it a level. It is a level. This is level 8. I think we're on 8, right? However, it's an open world game, so you can be, you could be in level 14 and go to a level 8 save point if you wanted to, or variables like that. But okay, so we are gonna, for this first Life of the Gods, you're really gonna have to earn it, and we're gonna be facing some berserkers over here. I would recommend upgrading your lunar to level 3, and like I mentioned in a previous video, we can't counterattack these guys here. So what you're gonna need to do is do a jump, get a charge going, equip your lunar. Clip the armlet of the sun if you want to so you can deal more damage to these guys. Oh, you see also how I made a kill in that other room and dragged the essence from that room to this room so I can get off an immediate blue charge, a UT going on these guys. I think in the first video I also said that the move where you just do the Y hold without the charge was an iframe move. I was completely wrong about that. I'm sorry if I made anyone confused. But basically what I'm doing here is we have 2 berserkers. On very hard there is 1 berserker, but now we have 2 since this is a harder mode of play here. So you see how I'm fighting this guy, but the other guy, he's not even attacking me. It's the most striking difference between this game and Sigma, where if you ever had 2 nightmares, 2 berserkers on the screen at once, you would be fighting one, but the other guy would be doing these asshole techniques of making area of effect attacks on the ground so you couldn't do charges and stuff like that. But it goes back to that thing about not looking at the enemies and not having them become aggressive. Here it's kind of the same thing, and there's a glitch that happened over here. This guy, he wound up in the air during this rest of this fight. I'm not sure. A lot of times this kind of shit happens. I just roll with it because it wasn't messing me up or anything. It was just kind of an odd visual thing that was happening. So I'm just doing the Y hold, releasing it, and getting some good damage on these guys, and using Nimpo, and pretty much just these guys are very tough. You've just got to kind of figure out a pretty good strategy to do. And I like this strategy. I mean, I'm trying to come up with if I find a better strategy, I will tell you what to do. But so far in my playthrough, I don't have the ability to. If we were able to counterattack, I would be telling you that you should be counterattacking these guys. But that technique is thrown out the window. This Life of the Gods here, this is number 18 of 45. So this is the second upgrade that you should have. Okay, so with those enemies dispatched, I'm going to, as you see here, I'm going to apply all the 9 of my Life of the Gods, get my upgrade, then smash this door open with the Lunar, and get my Dabilahro finally. So I'm going to equip this right away. And there's also a Jewel of the Demon Steel up here, and I'm going to apply that to my Inferno. And after this, I'm going to show you how to completely make some money with this Dabilahro and just get a ton of money. But I wouldn't really recommend doing this until the next chapter when we can actually start. I believe you can start upgrading the Dabilahro in the next chapter. It's fine after you finish this chapter. You can go back to the area that I'm going to show you. I'm just going to show you the technique for making money, and you can make up to the maximum amount of money you can possibly carry within about 15 minutes or so. But the problem I was experiencing over here was, even with the Sun Armlet, I couldn't slay some of these guys some of the times. It might have been my proximity to them. So every time, save your progress and then go into Han's Bar, and don't look at the enemies. You're going to start out not looking at them, so don't press the right trigger yet. Stand about right past that line, and then see how these enemies are not attacking me, although I'm in their theoretical line of sight. See, I slayed those two guys, and this will work with the level 1 Dabilahro. It's just that sometimes it just wasn't powerful enough with this strength, and it might have been my proximity to these guys. But you can go in and out of Han's Bar as many times as you possibly want to and make a ton of money, because those first 2 kills are very good, and then you can do get these types of kills when you get blue essence from enemies. The rocket launcher enemies usually give you blue essence. I mean, they usually give it to you more than they don't give it to you. So see, got another powerful kill right there. Yeah, you see, I thought I got a kill, and then the damn guy. That's what happens sometimes. If you're too far away from them, and then this kind of shit happens here. But don't let it worry you, because at any time, even when there's enemies around, you can go up to that Xbox and fill yourself up and get all your magic back. And it's really nice to have 3 flames on our key gauge. I can't tell you how nice it is, because I did this campaign with only 2 at this section, and even though it's only 1 flame, and we had to work really hard to get that. You can really tell the difference. It's nice that your rewards are equal to the amount of effort you put out in this game. But anyway, I'm going to show you one more time how to do this. Pretty simple. Just exit the bar, and you can move the camera too. Just don't move the camera until your charge is built up all the way. You can either move the camera or do what I do, just press the right trigger to center the camera behind you. Then that lets the guy see you. Then we slay them. You can usually get those 2 kills. That's a lot of money right there. You might not think it, but these guys are hard to grind for money on. That's really hard, but to do a trick like that is really nice. And I even have a trick on Sigma about how to go in the alleyway, and there's an invisible line where the brutes don't cross it, and I loved how I found that. It was so awesome. But in this game, the brutes do cross that line, so I was really disappointed when I found that out. But I have a bunch of money-making tutorials on my other channel if you want to look, though. So now we're going to do the boss section, although it's not a boss. And even though in Sigma they have the alternator boss, the Dynamo clone, there's such a great opportunity for a boss battle on this stage. It's a wonderful arena. I mean, there's so many opportunities it's a huge, beautiful arena to have a boss fight in. And I think they really you know, they kind of copped out by cloning Dynamo and having Alternator for the boss, because I hate Dynamo and I hate Alternator. You know, it's the same thing. And they did the same thing with Alma too. But I just feel that it's a huge environment that's just wasted space over here, because what happens is that there's no boss. There's a chopper that comes and you just block his bullets and then he takes off, and we fight him in the next chapter. But it's just like, you know, it just feels kind of like it's a little incomplete for some reason. I'm not sure. When I did this on easier difficulties, I thought that there might be a boss on, you know, harder difficulties, but there's not. So I don't know. Part of me likes it though, because, you know, even though it could have been a really cool boss, it could have been a really hard boss that might have been cheap or something. Anyway, so we're gonna grab the Strongbow. You don't have to do this right now if you don't want to, and I don't even think you have to use the Strongbow in this game, because it does give you an option. You know, but the Strongbow, more powerful bow, so I don't see why you wouldn't want to have it unless you're doing, you know, a pain run or something where you're purposely trying to take more pain. And those kind of runs aren't for me. I don't find any interest in doing that. I don't think it shows that you're more skilled at playing the game. I mean, all it does is infuse artificial difficulty into the game. And, you know, those players that do that are very talented, but I just like the skill level of, you know, going through the game traditionally. Anyway, equip your windmill shuriken because we have 2 flying drones. So dispatch those flying drones here. It's really hard to dodge their laser beam attack. You just gotta. It doesn't take very much, but there's no ground-based enemies, fortunately. But we do have these flying drones. And then equip your Strongbow, and then go under one of the gun turret guys and shoot the turret opposite him. And you can just block and wait for a lull in the bullet spray. It's, you know, it's hard not to not have this look messy, but it's pretty easy. I mean, even when you're getting hit, you can pretty much just keep your aim going. I mean, the guy does break my guard up here at one point. See when I'm aiming right here? Watch, my guard gets broken. I remember. See that? I'm not sure why that is. I don't know. I can't account for that. It doesn't make much sense. But once we take this guy out, you know, 3 hits per kill, or 3 hits to kill that guy. Here's the chopper. And all you really need to do is, I mean, because this guy will fire rockets at you, but this spot over here that I stand, he never fires rockets at me. So just keep your guard up constantly here. He won't even break your guard. And from this cramped position on the map, you will have to press, if you want to look up to see where the chopper is, you have to press down, because we're like right up against the wall. So that's how it works out with these controllers, even though my controllers are not inverted. But I just thought that this was kind of odd. I mean, coming from a Sigma perspective, to not have a boss in this arena where, you know, there's a fiend challenge with Rachel and stuff like that. But oh well, it's kind of a taste of what's to come, I suppose. And now we have more flying drones, numbering 6 flying drones, 3 on either side. And you also notice that we have that asshole up there shooting a rocket at us. But in this game, you only have to take out that one guy who was in the Strongbow room. And Sigma 2, you had to take, or Sigma 1, you had to take out several of those guys in the building. Anyway, do not use any of your magic here, by the way. Also, right here, I was trying to find a spot where I could stand back a little bit further so I could see where this guy was better. So let him fire. Shoot your 2 or 3. It takes 3 shots to kill this guy. And the reason I say don't use any magic, make sure you do bring magic here. All your flames of your key gauge. Go to the Xbox, fill it up for free. And then what we're going to do is, because to get to that room, we're going to be attacked outside the gate. That door right there. So, you know, I have very little health, but I'm going to not use any healing upgrades because I have all this Nimpo to use, plus they'll fill me up in the next chapter, so I don't want to waste any healing items. So we got the Inferno at level. This was a wasted shot right there. Sucks, but oh well. Then this one fortunately got both of these guys, since the Inferno is so powerful at level 3. So those guys won't bother us once we get out of this gate. So now we just need to shoot the device that'll open the gate for us. And with that, I'll leave you, and I'll see you in Chapter 9, the military supply base.